is different ways of writing meanings. So my name is Maria Kansil. And I'm Salva Delia. So first, very next. Okay. In this lecture, we discuss the presentation about different ways of defining meanings. The first is real and nominal definition. The second is definition by ostension. Next, definition by synonym and definition by context or typical example. Definition by genus and differentia, and explain the definition and subjectivity. And the last is explain semantic meaning. So, real and nominal definition. Real definition as a short summation of the essence or inherent nature of a thing. Example, thunder. Why thunder? Because thunder is not description of the meaning of the word thunder, but express thunder's essential nature. For Aristotle, the noise of the fire being extinguished. And nominal definition as a description of the meaning of the word which denotes display. Next. And Bloomfield say we can define the meaning of speech from accurately when this meaning has to do with some matter of which we process scientific knowledge. Example, salt and sodium chloride. And next, definition of ostension. We can defining something by pointing out the object which they denote. Example, pen. Definition by synonym. Synonym is the same word that have meaning. For example, angry. And you might try, for example, to define words by providing synonym in either the same language as the word being defined or in a different one. This one would give mad and furious as in the definition of angry, and blue as a well-formed one. And the problem with this strategy is that it is usually possible to challenge the identity between the definers. And the one is defined mental language word proposed as the definition. The second is defining the object language word for which the definition. Next. Definition by context or typical example. Another way to define a word is to situate it in a system of wider relation through which the specificity of the definitive can be seen. This definitional strategy differs from the synonymous strategy in simply showing the position of a definitive with respect to other relations which are not themselves identical with as origin synonyms are. And definition by genus and differentia. The two preceding types of definition are essentially relations, defining a word's meaning through its connection with other words. And according to Aristotle, genus is a definition involved with specifying the broader class which the definition belongs, and differentia is showing the distinguishing feature of the definitive, the differential which distinguishes from the other members of the broader class. Definition and substitutability. The substitution of definitions for definition must be appropriate in all contexts. For example, in English, given equilibrium can be accepted as the definition of the word balance if it is possible to substitute the word balance in various contexts and there are no mistakes when translating it. For example, I balanced the plank in my bag. She balanced the ball on the end of the bag. Now, children, you have to balance the egg on the spoon. and never manage to balance the demand of the work and play. Semantic primitive. Semantic primitives are words that cannot be defined or broken down into something simple. Further in grammar are used like every lexion has lexical items. These are called semantic primitives or small words that cannot be defined. The concept of the theory of meaning in the field of linguistics is supported by the belief that the meaning of each word is not always inexplicable or primitive, but is a combination of semantic primitive concepts. Semantic primitives are the basic foundation in the formation of meaning. The modern classification is the formation of the modern linguistic theory that is currently being developed in the natural semantic metalanguage or NSM, expressed by Wizard Clark and Goddard. Following is a list of semantic primitives used in the NSM approach to define meaning. For example, I, you, someone, people, something or thing, body, this, the same, other, what, two, some or much or money, good, bad, big, small, thing, no one, feel, see, hear, say, word, true, you happen, move, there is, have, live, die, when or time. Now, before, after a long time, short time, for short time, where or place. Here, above, below, far, near, side, inside, not, maybe, can, because, if, very, more, kind of, part of, and like. Next, problems with definition. Can you see the so far we can all assume that it is possible to define words in all cases, but giving a definition does not mean that there are not obstacles or conflicts among the linguistic community. Criticism that often argues against the theory of definition in semantics is that it does not satisfy the definition of the word. That is, produce or formulate the skeptical attitude about the existence of definition that appears is very broad. In fact, research from various disciplines that are still related to the field of the theory of definition. For example, the word bachelor in English is a combination of the concept not married, unmarried, and man is man. Simultaneously, the word bachelor can be defined as men who are not married or unmarried men. Life is definition, understanding, and use. In human life and activities, the function of definition is granted that language is used consistently. In science and technology, definition is very important and important. For example, if there is not understanding of the definition of other or other, it will be impossible for a scientist or expert to talk about this object. Examples of terms that are often included when used for language can be the same or different. Usually, some example of conversation is a language requires explicit definitions. This is necessary when expressing confusion. Whereas, to clarify what is the proper use of the word, a nominal definition of the meaning of the word is not always available. We are going about questions for group and mention.
defining the definition of term. What are the two ways in defining the definition of term? My name is Melissa. I'm from Group 1. My question is, what are the different ways of defining words? Ways of defining words.
Dari satu tuh udah dulu. Kita jawab kalau I'm not clear from the word. My question is, in which type of book can we find nominal definition and how can we get it? In which type of book can we find nominal definition and how can we get it? My question is, how we have to deal with the problem of definitions? How we have to deal with the problem of the definition? Sudah. Nominal definition tidak tahu. To answer the question from Sarah, what are the different ways of defining words? The first is there are two methods of defining terms: dictionary approach and authoritative reference. And the second is the writers of the text do not apply other kinds of methods in defining concepts or terms because the concept or terms are familiar for the readers. The question is from Melissa. What are the two ways in defining the definition of term? The two ways is the first is theoretical definition and the second is operational definition. Melissa, sorry. captious question, how to deal with problems in defining. First one is state why it is a problem, and then separate the facts from opinion and reality from fiction. List everything that is known, list what you have learned, look at the underlying causes, talk to anyone who might have information, figure out whose problem it really is, avoid stating the problem as discussed solution. Develop a simple problem statement and determine if it is solvable. The last from Africa, how to indicate nominal definition. First interpretation, which he adopts, and some people have considered the definition of the underlying nature of objects are the only types of definition which can be of interest. Which what type of in academic book or fiction in academic? Silakan, ayo tanya. Baca saya. Okay, we open about section 2 for questions. Aku bertanya, okay, from Rizal.
Okay, thank you. My name is Muhammad Rizal and I'm from group 3. So I have a question on this slide about definition by ostension. Can you back to the slide about yeah. And then the question is it said that pointing out the objects with which did not. Okay? And the question is, can you give us the example definition by ostension? 3. Six. Sudah.
Okay, my name is Serlan Joni Putra. I'm from group 7. So my question is, can you show me how to use genus as cognitive strategy?
In cognitive strategy. Serlan, in cognitive strategy. And the last
slide about yang tadi ada but love and hate. Yeah. So according to the book, Bloomfield has explained we have no precise way of defining words like love and hate. My question, why we can define love and hate? I'm Siti Juniati from group 2.
Okay, maybe it's enough question just for 3 in this section 2. Give me a minute for the answer the question, okay? Answer the question from Rizal, group 6. Can you give us definition of ostension? Okay, defining by ostension is we can define something by pointing out the object for example, pen. Why? Okay, I give you a simulasi. Jadi, this is a pen, right? And definition by ostension is we can define something by pointing out the object which they denote, and the example is pen. When I said this is pen, my hand touches the pen, and I I'm not saying about the color of pen is purple and the pen is smaller, but this is said about the object. And my hand, when I say this is pen, my hand pointed the pen and should be the object. So, and the example pen is but also adjective and verb. Because I said pen, this is adjective. So this is when I say this is a pen, my hand pointing the pen and touch the pen. So this is defining something, pointing out the object with the pen. You understand? Bahasa Indonesia-nya kan defining something, pointing out the object with ketika saya bilang this is a pen, ini pen, tangan saya itu sambil menunjuk this is pen, tapi saya tidak berbicara tentang warna, tapi bukan berbicara tentang warna, tapi tentang objeknya, ya, yaitu pen. Ketika saya bilang this is pen, bukan tentang warnanya ungu, and but also adjective and verb. Thank you.
I will answer Sarah's question. Can you show me how to use James in cognitive strategy? Can use it for example, asking students to reflect on their experience, helping students finding solutions to problems, encouraging discussion about what is being taught, helping students explore and understand how ideas are connected, asking students to justify and explain their thinking, and using visualization to improve students' understanding and recall.
And the next question by Adino. Why we can define love and hate. So, for it is not just abstract noun like love and hate, which lack a scientific definition, but the vast majority of the vocabulary of any natural language. There are have two reasons for this. The first is that, as we saw in chapter 1, words like unicorn, time machine, and several like and denotation in the real world, but nevertheless have a meaning. And secondly, most of the vocabulary of language has only a small amount of overlap with terms of the short which interest empirical science. Most of the vocabulary consists of the word for huge variety of objects, process, relation, and state. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay, for the question is for the answer, and this is for our presentation from group 3. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum.